Hi, everybody. I'm Suzanne Shirley. I am a Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and we are here tonight to start our incredible study of Sarah Robbins' book called Rock Your Network Marketing Business. And Sarah Robbins used to be a kindergarten teacher. She started in her skincare company that she represents now. She is a six-figure monthly earner, like 6 figures a month. That means a 7-figure, millions of dollars. Both she and her husband, and she has been through everything you can even imagine in network marketing. And she's made it. And if she can make it as a kindergarten teacher in her 20s, then any one of us can make it. And that's what I have always gleaned out of this book. I read it when I was a brand new starting ambassador in our company. I got a hold of her immediately. She teaches some of the most basic skills to share your product and the opportunity that we have. And she will tell you how to do it, but you also have to combine that with a fortitude, a commitment to never quit, to never give up until you hit your mark. And it will happen when you keep going and you don't give up. So let me get into it. Tonight, we're going to talk about the first 2 chapters. The first one, she talks about demystifying the build, okay? You're building it. That's what you're doing. You're building a business, a network of people who are purchasing and sharing or sharing the product that we have in this incredible company. So 6- and 7-figure success certainly did not happen overnight for Sarah Robbins. It was not easy, but it was certainly worth it. And that is the same for me. And my story very quickly is I started in 2014, late in the year 2014, I caught the vision immediately because I saw one of my friends who was from high school and college cleaning it up with this. And she had never done this before or anything like it. And I watched her for quite a while, and I realized if she can do it, why can't I do it? In fact, when I watch any success story that's out there, meaning, like, for example, I read the biography of Neil Armstrong, the #1 astronaut who set his feet on the moon for the first time. And I learned all about the Gemini space program and all of the astronauts that died and put together every single thing that it took for them to get to the moon. And I thought, if Neil Armstrong can accomplish his lifelong goal to get to the moon, then I can build a team in Plexus, a sustainable passive residual income that's going to provide for our family for decades to come. And I was telling one of my friends the other day, I look at Tom Brady, and Tom Brady has a lot of talent. There's no doubt, but that is not what makes Tom Brady 100% successful. He takes his talent and he combines it with discipline, hard work, showing up, commitment, fortitude, and a relentless attitude to never quit. Listen to him give a speech from time to time. When are you going to retire? Not going to retire. He's not going to quit because he's going to see how far he can go. And you know what? If Tom Brady can make a legacy for himself in sports for all time, with those characteristics, why can't you or I, in our industry, with what we do, with our gifts and our talents, build a lifelong legacy business that provides an incredible passive residual income for our families for decades to come? I mean, people's success stories like Sarah Robbins, it just turns me on. And it inspires me and makes me realize I can do it. If they can do it, we can all do it. So hard work, it didn't happen overnight, didn't come easy, so worth it. She failed forward. Okay. She used to be one of the lowest earning leaders in her company. She was crying over pasta one night with one of her friends, wondering how she was ever going to make more than $3,000 in network marketing in a month. Okay. Now, some people are not even to that mark yet. So like, hey, I would love to be making $3,000 a month. But she was making $3,000 a month because she was basically selling product. She was bringing people in personally that were connected only to her, that were purchasing product, and that's it. She had a team full of customers, basically. But her friend told her, here you are today. I remember you crying over your pasta, making $3,000 a month, wondering if you'd ever make way more than that. And she said, and here you are making 6 figures a month. The simple thing that got her there, according to that friend, big time thing. Get ready. This is it. One of the biggest nuggets is that she was coachable. She was coachable. She listened to what her upline, her sponsor, and industry leaders were telling her on how to build it. And she didn't try to reinvent the wheel. She wasn't stubborn or obstinate. She did what they said, period. She said, I was shy, but I was coachable, and I was willing to learn anything I needed to do. And she makes the point that people will come into your business and they're going to work at varying paces. And we have that on this team. Some people just order their products, some occasionally promote it, and some even enter into the witness protection agency. We have all of those. Sometimes they come in, they buy their kit, and they're done, right? Never hear from them again. But it's basically working through the numbers. You're going to be sifting and sorting until you find your key leaders. And it takes time to do that, to find just that few that are going to make that that are going to help you, and you guys together are going to build an organization. She said she's found the same stats and averages to be the pretty similar in the industry, all across the industry, as they relate to how many you have to personally sponsor and talk to before you so-called quote unquote strike gold. Here's the standard. She and her friends compared their organizations, and it's a lot of different people that were together at an event, and they were all on stage, and they all compared their organizations and their experience. And they had all been in business anywhere from 5 to 25 years. They had each sponsored between 50 and 150 people over time. Most of them had 80% of their income coming from anywhere between 1 to 3 legs. That's 1 to 3 people who had built teams in that organization. That was the majority of their income. Okay. So this has been done over and over and over again with people when they go to events. All the top earners will sit there and compare their organizations. And it's very, very similar. 1 leg will get you to 6 figures. 1 runaway leg. Okay. I know, because I'm going to be honest right here, I have an incredible runaway primary leg. And without it, I would not be in the 6-figure mark. Now, have I built outside of that leg? Absolutely. I have quite a big team outside of that. But take away anyone's big runaway primary leg, and they don't have a sustainable income at the 6-figure level. Okay, so you won't be able to know your stats on your success until after you've reached that success. Once you've reached that success, you can turn around and look back and say, okay, at this particular point, I had talked to this number of people, I had sponsored this many of people, this percentage of my people are earning this amount of money, this percentage actually does work, this percentage is the large part of my income. What cures any kind of ailment in your business? What's the cure for it? Activity. I always say every single time, activity will cure your lack of belief in yourself. Activity will fill your pipeline full of people. Activity will build your belief. Activity will give you motivation. Activity. So the cure to what ails you in your business is your personal activity. Don't ever look at your team and blame your progress or your pace on them. You have to take personal responsibility for your own activity and respect their effort level and their pace. So what does she do? She says, if I'm home, I'm making 5 calls to people on my contacts list. But if I'm out, I'm handing out 5 business cards and having conversations with people that she meets. She's like, I'm not done until I have made those connections and continue to work through my numbers, which in turn increase my odds for success. I am in an accountability group right now, online with a coaching and personal business group. And I have a power partner, and right now they're a perfect stranger. We're going to get to know each other pretty soon. We're going to invite somebody else to come in. Accountability, I know, is where I need it. So I am making sure that I'm accountable. I also have a couple of friends that are top earners in the company, and they too realize that they need accountability and have asked me if they can send their work to me either daily or weekly. And so when you hold yourself accountable, like what she said, I will never go to bed. I'm not done working until I've handed out those 5 business cards and I've talked to 5 people, or I have connected with 5 people or made 5 phone calls that day. Myself, I have had stuff I've had to do all day, and I have told myself I am not going to bed until my work is done, till my personal business work is done. So what are your odds? Would you be willing to hear many no's to sign up 100 or more people until you strike gold and find 3 major producers like she did? Would you be willing to do that? That's a lot of work. I have sponsored at least 100 people, at least 100 people. And let me just tell you, in that big primary leg that I told you that I have, which has helped me become a 6-figure earner and has gotten me now to the second, along with my own work, but it has gotten me to the second from the top rank of the company. Literally, I did not personally sponsor that individual. I have sponsored a student who turned around and sponsored that individual, who shared on one of our top trainings just yesterday for our company. She's incredible, and she is an incredible leader. And if she hadn't been exposed to our company and seen some of the stories that we had there, she would never have gotten the spark to start and get going. What are the odds? You keep talking to enough people, you keep so-called doing what I did, sponsor that student who might lead you to that top earner. You know, you never know who you are going to talk to that's either going to get the vision themselves or lead you to someone who will. You can give up and you can assume that the business model doesn't work. But if you've seen success in your company, and she's like, and I assure you that it does, you will never choose to give up. You're going to work through those odds, and you're not going to give up until you succeed. And it's the truth. It's a numbers game. And the only way that you lose is if you give up and you quit. So I just now got through the 2nd chapter, and I think it is just an incredible, no, I just got through the 1st chapter. So I thought I'd already worked through the 2nd chapter. So remember, there's no magic bullet. There's no magic bullet. There is no magic phrase that you can send out to 20,000 people and get 10 people to join you. I mean, it's just not, there's no magic bullet or fairy dust that's going to lead you to that big income and that successful business. It's just going to come from doing a number of little things the right way. So what are those things? Okay, the things are, what are the reasons that she says she's in love with the profession? Well, number 1 is freedom and flexibility. You can basically build your business around your life. You don't have to build your life around your business. I keep talking to this real estate agent who's really interested in hearing what I have to say about our company and our business. But every time I get a hold of her, she's training. She's like, I can't do it. I'm having to cancel. I'm so sorry. I've canceled like 3 times on you, but I've now got a call. Somebody's going to be out. I have to train this new realtor, you know? And I said to her, quite frankly, I said, my time is worth a lot to me, but I won't stop talking to you. Maybe I'll come back to you in the next month or 2. But I said, what if you didn't have to train that new realtor when somebody didn't show up for work? What if you could say, look, today's not good for me. I'll do this when it's convenient for me. That's what I'm doing right now. I told her, I said, I'm looking over here at my dog who's laying on the stairs. I just got home from working out and I'm getting ready to go get my nails done. And the work that I'm going to be doing is this evening. And I can schedule when I'm going to be doing my work. And so she said, Suzanne, I promise I'm going to talk to you. Okay, well, we'll eventually do it. So freedom and flexibility to build your life, build your business around your life. Eventually people start off making Plexus their plan B, and then they get into it, or they get into network marketing and they think it's their side gig, their plan B. And then they get into it enough and they realize, okay, it's time to make that my plan A. And that's what I did. I realized what this was in stages. I got in thinking it was incredible. And then I kept seeing more incredible things about it and became more committed and even more committed. And then I got rid of my graduate program that I was in. And then I committed to all my free time. Anything I was doing free time, I committed it to the business. I gave up creature comforts. I got up earlier. I went to bed later. I quit watching movies. I didn't watch football. There were so many things that I started to commit more. It became my plan A. Teaching became my plan B. The financial opportunity is absolutely incredible. It's unmatched. You can do more in 3 to 5 years in this business than you can do in 30 to 50-year career. And that is honestly the truth. I have gotten faster to my goals in our company than the 23 years it took me to build up to $40,000 a year in the education profession. Okay, that just happens. It's unbelievable. And you do this through this thing called leverage. You're leveraging the work and the time of other people. And that's what gives you that security, that wealth. It turns your expenses into income. In network marketing, your expenses turn into part of your income because you're buying your own product from your own store. And you can write off so many things when you're a business owner. It allows you to make money or save money. You're going to get paid to share your story. You're going to get paid to help others. Getting competitive commissions, amazing bonuses, and you get recognition. That's a huge deal that you get in network marketing. You're going to have friendships that you'll make in this business that you never expected, that will last you a lifetime. And you'll get to travel together and spend time in other places together. That just happened to me in Maui. I mean, I spent an entire day at a pool with one of my jewel friends who lives in Minnesota. And I never would have met her had we not met in Plexus. She's not even on my team, but she's one of my dearest friends. Another girl that I love to pieces lives in Michigan. And I got to see her and spend time with her. That would not happen if we weren't in this business together. Professional and personal growth activity opportunities in our company and network marketing, things you'll never find anywhere else. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And that's the good thing. You get incredible corporate team and team training systems that are provided for you. Just opportunities for you to grow as a person. And trust me, when you're building a business, you're going to be pushed to grow. You have no other option but to grow or to give up. And that is what's going to really push you into the next level of your business. It's when you grow personally. and you recognize what's missing and you commit to those things and uncovering those things, and that's what's going to push you up in your business. You grow in your skills and confidence and communication. You earn as you learn, and eventually network marketing is going to provide you the freedom that you're looking for. You're going to be on this learning curve. You've got to give it time to grow. It doesn't happen overnight. And you've got to have realistic expectations of what it's going to actually take. You know, an output of time and sometimes resources that you're going to have to get to get your hands on. You're going to have to give it time to develop proficiency in certain skills like inviting and presenting and following up and closing. Those are all skills that, and also guess what? The skill of developing relationships. Sometimes that is a skill that's greatly lacking. We know how to be nice to people, but do we know how to develop a real connection? And, you know, that's the title of a book with John Maxwell. Everyone communicates, but very few connect. So we can all communicate with just about anybody, but whether we make that heart connection with them, that is your big assignment. Your big assignment is to make heart connections with people and to build trust. And if that's a skill that you're lacking in, you have to learn how to do it. She said, I want you to commit to a minimum of 5 years working it, just going like mad, committing 5 of your years to this. And once you can adequately say, I have given this 5 years, okay, that's a good amount of time to give. And if you haven't gotten to a certain amount of success in 5 years, then there's some great things lacking. You have to give it some time to develop those skills. And sharing your story and your company's story is going to give your business time to grow. She compares it to the snowball, and I talk about that a lot. The snowball, you basically are gathering snow at the bottom of a hill. And if you want to get that snowball up the hill, it's going to start gathering more snow, but you're the one that's putting the snow on the snowball. You're going and getting some snow and you're putting it on there and you're rolling it up and you're pushing it up the hill. And then maybe you're going to go get somebody to come over and help you to push that snowball up the hill. Maybe, hey, will you go get some more snow for me? And let's put that snow together on this ball. Let's roll it up some more and push it up the hill. And then somebody's going to go, this is not for me. Y'all have fun. I'm out of here. And they leave and they stop pushing up the snowball. So that goes back down the hill. And you have to go find somebody else to help you and you get it bigger because you can't push it up by yourself. If you're the only one pushing that snowball up the hill by yourself, it's not going to get up the hill. So you are looking for people to help you get that snowball up the hill. And eventually you find a person that will never give up, that sees your vision of what's going to be at the top of that mountain. And when the two of you grind away at getting that thing up the mountain and gathering snow, you make it so big, and you might find another person or two to kind of come alongside of you and never quit. And that really helps it get to the top. And that's when you can kick it over and it starts to run down the other side. And it gains momentum and speed, and it gets bigger and bigger. And basically what you're doing at that point is you're guiding it down the mountain. And that's in the momentum phase. But the building is getting it up that mountain. So whatever you do, don't quit. Because that snowball will never get there unless you and your people that you're finding get it to the top of that mountain. And you can't do it alone. So the $50 million woman is the person that she sponsored. Her name, I forget what her name was, but she sponsored this girl. And that girl sponsored this woman named Susie. Hey, Susie. And Susie didn't know what she was doing in the beginning and just kind of was hanging out. And the girl that sponsored her just got discouraged because she had only sponsored Susie. And so she quit. And then Susie caught the vision and built a $50 million organization. Mm-hmm. And don't you think that woman made the biggest mistake of her life? She quit because she only had one person when she could have had $50 million worth of people in an organization that was thousands and thousands of people big. Yeah, she made a big mistake. So you never know what people will do. You have no clue who it is when you bring them in. People have so much potential that you might not even know about. They also have the potential to quit and to give up on themselves. But that doesn't mean they did it to you. They did it to themselves. Don't take what they choose to do personally. You have to just push on and get past them and talk to more people. But for sure, don't be like this woman who made a $50 million mistake. The only way to make that mistake is to quit. So Donna Johnson, her friend, another $1 million earner, said, Sarah, I know handfuls of people who would be millionaires today if they had not quit. And she's like, you never know what people will do or whom they will lead you to. So quitting is the surefire way to fail. I recently read that this is her talking, that as many as 95% of those, get this, 95% of those who remain in this industry for 10 years or longer, working steadily at building their groups, not just hanging out, buying product and sharing here and there. I'm talking be in the industry, work consistently on steadily building their groups and their network, they will eventually reach their highest level of pay in their respective business. That's a statistic. Stick it out for 10 years and you're going to hit the top of the company. Okay. But it begins with a decision to be successful. You have to decide. You have to make that decision. And if you've not made that decision to do whatever it takes, literally whatever it takes, then you won't make it. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So the book is about how-tos. And I talked about how I was going to show a video, and it's about 24 minutes long, and we have about 24 minutes right now, and that'll take us to the top of the hour. If you're not interested in watching, you can jump off, but we are going to kind of wrap it up at the very end. But Sarah Robbins, her voice, her story, and her giving the specifics a little bit of the first 2 chapters is powerful. Trust me, I've already watched it. This is a great video. So I'm going to share my screen and let's do it.
Stars, this is Sarah Robbins from sarahrobbins.com. I'm so thrilled to be with you and share with you my story and how I got to where I am, but really how you can rock your home-based business too. Now, before we get started, let's go ahead and get acquainted. Can you find me in that sea of those sweet, smiling faces? Well, I'm a formerly shy teacher by trade who was living in one of the more depressed economies in the country. I had just moved, just gotten married, and just got my brand new job as a kindergarten teacher. I was in my 20s. And while I loved teaching, we were facing financial difficulties. I was paying bills with change. And to be honest, I was facing the loss of my job in our first home. So this caused me to look for extra income, and my search led me to network marketing. I first found my company when it was a top-selling clinical brand in high-end department stores. I was freelancing for them to supplement my teaching salary. And during this time, our founders were looking for ways that they could leverage their brand and bring it to the masses in today's social economy. Everyone's online, so they decided to choose a social selling model and make a transition from retail to network marketing. They asked me to join them, along with my mom, Chris, and of course, we said yes. Because we were first, we didn't have training or marketing materials. In fact, we didn't even have a compensation plan yet. All we had was our belief. We believed so strongly in our business model and the opportunity we were offering and the product we were promoting. Now, from the outside looking in, it may not have appeared that we would have had a very high survival rate, but here we are today. We're both 7-figure annual income earners for our company. Now, through our persistence and commitment to personal and professional growth, we were able to establish a system and help other people get off to a great start. I was able to retire from teaching so I could pursue my dream of starting a foundation for children. And in 4 short years, by the age of 29, I became our company's first 6-figure-a-month income earner. And we've mentored many 6- and 7-figure earners on our team who drive the free cars, are enjoying luxury trips to fabulous destinations around the world. You know, I'm really proud of what our profession has done for people. My greatest joy is what we're able to give. We give hope and freedom to those who join us in this incredible business model. And we also give hope to those outside of our opportunity as we're now able to bless them with our time, talent, and resources. My husband and I got back from opening up some orphanages in India, and we just have really a big picture, big vision of what's left for us to do through our network marketing earnings. Now, success wasn't always easy for me. I wasn't a fast starter, and trust me when I say I failed forward quite a bit. But the most important thing was I didn't quit, and I learned a lot. So today I hope to share with you what I've learned and really one big simple shift, a little shift I should say, that can take you from earning $500 to over $5,000 in potential earnings. It will help to increase your belief and really demystify the big build and allow you some insight on what it really takes to build big within our profession. Now, I recently had coffee with one of my mentors and friends, Leslie, who reminded me of my early days when I used to be one of the least highest earners with the company. Leslie reminded me of a story of when she and I went out to an Italian restaurant to eat after an event, and she said, I remember you crying over your pasta, wondering how you were ever going to make $3,000 a month. And here you are today making 6 figures a month. And Sarah, when people ask me how you did it, I tell them one thing: she was coachable. And you know, Leslie was right. When I started my business, success didn't come easy for me. As I shared, I had many challenges that some may view as hurdles, even from the starting gates. I was shy, which isn't necessarily a desired trait in the business of networking. In fact, I remember approaching my first person and walking up to a cosmetics counter, picking up a bottle of skincare. My hands were shaking, my knees were knocking, and for the first time in my life, I saw stars. And I did the typical network marketing verbal vomit all over her. She looked at me like a deer in headlights. I took off running and crying, and like any good girl would do, I called my mom on the way home and I said, Mom, do I go back there? She said, no, don't go back there. Get out of there. And I took off crying the whole way home. How would I be successful? I mean, even my own friends were young and they were dealing with life issues of their own, starts of careers, marriages, etc. And many were broke like me. They didn't necessarily have the resources or interest in starting a business in their young 20s, much less a network. And I certainly didn't know a thing about business or network marketing. But the one characteristic that I did carry was the fact that I was coachable. I was willing to learn and plug into a proven system, and I was committed. Fact was, I wasn't going to give up until I surpassed my teaching income. So when I started my business, my only desire was to earn an extra $3,000 a month in case I lost my teaching job. My mom and I were the first consultants in the company, so really we had no upline leading or guiding us. Having been a product educator formerly, I did what I knew how to do. I started selling a lot of product. Now this was great because I was earning a few $100 to $1,000 residual income. It kept coming in over and over again for work I did one time because people were reordering and getting great results. And this was great considering that I had very part-time hours to put into my business because I was still a part-time teacher. Now my mom, who's my upline, loved it because she was making a great residual income from my sales too. So we felt like we were onto something, and that this business opportunity was our best kept secret. So one day my mom called me and said, Sarah, this opportunity is huge. Let's not tell anyone. Let's keep this our own little secret. Now, how many of you know in a business of networking, that's the last thing you want to do? But being a good daughter, I said, okay. And I continued to sell the product. Now, of course, that didn't last long. I eventually saw the light through trainings like these, And through really reading success stories within the profession, one thing I learned was that all of the 6 and 7 figure earners in our profession leveraged their time and increased their income by building a team. I promised you a simple shift that would bring big success. When I made that shift from product sales to power prospecting for the business, I watched my check go from $3,800 to over $11,000 in just a few months. How? Power prospecting. So you may be wondering, what is prospecting? Well, Webster's dictionary defines it as looking for gold. It's the process of talking to people in hopes that you're going to find some who are interested in joining you on your products or in your business. And in the process of these conversations, you'll sift through a lot of people to find a few who will join you. Then you'll have a lot of people join you, of whom will work at varying paces. Now, keep in mind, it only takes a few power partners to change your life. That's your gold. Remember, though, you may have to talk to a lot of people to find those few, kind of like sifting for gold. But if I told you that you had 4 gold bricks sitting in your own backyard, would you continue to dig until you found them? Sure you would. Now, this business is no different. I'm living proof of this concept. I've been sifting for a long time. You see, I've probably talked to thousands of people since I started my business 5 years ago. I've had over 100 people join me. Of those, I have about 30 people still working the business at a moderate pace. And of those, I have about 10 top leaders at this time, some of whom are pictured. And of those, about 3 people who account for a good majority of my income, probably over 80%. So what happened to the rest? I'm a teacher. I take great pride in how I teach and train. But some people have chosen to just order product. Some occasionally promote. And some have entered into the witness protection program. That's right. They buy a kit and they vanish. It's a mystery. But, you can't motivate those that are unmotivated. As with insurance agents, realtors, salespeople, there really is power in working through the numbers. This is no different. You'll be sifting and sorting until you find your key leaders. But remember, it only takes a few to really make a big difference in your business. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the pressure off while prospecting, keeping in mind that you're just sharing and you're looking for those who have a need in what you're offering, whether it be through your opportunity or product. It's kind of like a waiter or waitress going around pouring cups of coffee. Some say no, others say yes to the coffee. But when someone says no, that waitress doesn't break down and cry. No, she keeps doing her job. She keeps offering people the coffee. It's just your job to offer, just your job to share the opportunity to each person you encounter. It's their job to decide. So don't get emotionally attached to their response. Just keep pouring. I want you to think of it this way. If you're willing to share, everyone can plug into your business. I like to call it with one of 3 ways, with the 3 C's. They can be a customer and use your product or service. They could be a consultant or a distributor and join you in business, or they could be a connector and help refer you on to people who may be interested if they know what you're doing. In fact, oftentimes I used a referral-based approach and say, my business is expanding in your area, and I'm looking to get ideas and meet new people. I'd love to share this with you and pick your brain a bit and see if you know anybody this opportunity would be great for. Now, when we chat, I share more about my product and opportunity, and sometimes people identify themselves as being interested. And if they're not interested, I share my referral rewards program. I'm willing to offer them a free product, or a portion of my cash bonus as a finder's fee for anyone they refer on who signs with me. But remember, they can only do this if they know what you're doing. So you have to be willing to have those conversations and ask for those referrals. So you may be wondering, okay, that's great. So where do I find these people? Well, I recommend you start with your warm market first and create a contact list. Who's in your cell phone? Who are you connected to on Facebook? Does your company have a memory jogger list? Be sure to check it out and fill it out. Have you launched your business to showcase your products? This can be done virtually with a free conference line or in front of your contacts, regardless of whether or not you're in a party plan. Wouldn't you like to spend an hour getting your business in front of as many people as you know? And how about asking a friend to host an event for you as you, quote unquote, expand your business in their area? This increases your audience and your exposure. I also like to network both formally and informally through networking groups, lifestyle prospecting, going to events. Now, I talk more about this in my Rockstar Recruiting School. But when people provide you services, thank them and tell them you're looking for people like them for your business, and set a time to chat. Leverage social media. If you're not sure where to start, find me online. Sarah with an H, Fairless, like it sounds, the word fair and less, and Robbins with 2 B's. Do as I do, and you can really modify the messaging to your company. I also use Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, so follow the leader, do what I do, modify it for your company. And last but not least, don't forget to reach out to your customers at some point. Happy customers, may appreciate your distributor discount. They could be the best evangelists for the product, having experienced personal results themselves. Bottom line, reach out and continue to talk. Now, earlier I mentioned that of the thousands I've talked to over time, I've had over 100 join me. Of those, a handful or 2 of top leaders, and of those, 3 who account for a good portion of my income. Now, I found the same stats and percentages to be pretty similar industry-wide as it relates to how many you must personally talk to and sponsor before you strike gold. I was recently asked on stage at a major industry event last year with my good buddy Jordan, and he brought up several top earners of different companies with different products and pay plans. Some of us having a few years experience in the profession, some having over 20 years. And he asked us how many people we've each sponsored, and of those, how many account for 80% or more of our income. The results were very similar. Get this. We've been in the business anywhere between 5 to 25 plus years. We've sponsored anywhere between 50 to 200 people over time. Most of us had 80% or more of our income coming from anywhere between just 1 to 3 legs or leaders, tops. So what does that mean? The major growth of your organization will probably be tied to just 2 to 3 people as well. But you never know what your personal set of odds will be and how many conversations you'll have to have, or how many people will join you before you find them. So I want you to get ready to talk it up. The more people you share your business with, the better your odds are of finding your power partners. Now, I want to share with you proof that you never know what people will do or who they will lead you to. I personally brought on board a woman in timeshares who I used to lovingly refer to as Negative Nellie, as she really didn't have a positive outlook on her business or her ability to reach out to people. She wasn't willing to make phone calls or do events to find prospects for her business. One day, as a last-minute resort, I crafted an email that she could at least send to her contacts. And it found Susie on New Year's Eve. Now you can see her dancing in that red dress, sitting in her free company car. Now, when that email was crafted, she sent it on New Year's Eve. And I'm telling you, the reason why I posted that picture of her dancing the red dress, both of us are doing a happy dance today, and I'll tell you why. Susie read the email, and being an entrepreneur, she immediately recognized the power of our profession. On December 31st, a few short years ago, she was introduced to me on a three-way call with their soon-to-be sponsor, who at the time was my personal partner in business. Susie immediately saw the vision and enrolled on New Year's Eve. Now, what a way to toast new beginnings. Unfortunately, Susie's sponsor got discouraged that she had only enrolled one consultant, and she decided this wasn't for her, and she quit. Now, a few years later, her team of one, Susie, grew into an incredible team that spans across the entire country, and in fact, It's one of the fastest growing teams and one of the largest legs in our company. Many team members are driving beautiful free cars, earning amazing incentive trips, and incredible incomes. In fact, Susie herself was just recognized at a recent convention as a $1 million Circle Achiever, and she moved into her dream home on the water in Boca Raton. Now, can you imagine if Susie's sponsor stuck with it? She could be earning the same time, she could be experiencing the same time and financial freedom. So today I'm renaming Negative Nellie to the $50 million woman. And here's why. She started the business at the age of 30, after taxes and with conservative investments, and not even taking into effect the organizational growth of Susie's group over time. That's what she could have earned if she didn't walk away. Expensive mistake. One of my friends, Donna Johnson, another $1 million mentor, oftentimes reminds me, Sarah, I know handfuls of people who would be millionaires today if they simply didn't quit. You never know what people will do or who they will lead you to, but quitting is the surest way to fail. Now, I just shared with you the $50 million woman's mistake, but unfortunately, I have a similar story of financial loss of my own. The story of the one who got away, the one who I was too chicken to call. Now remember, you never know what people will do or who they will lead you to. This story is the story of Stacy from Chicago, and pictured are myself, my mom, and Stacy. I used to work for Stacy. In fact, she got me my part-time freelancing job for skincare companies. I always admired her. She and her husband own several successful businesses in Chicago. And my mom and I thought of her several times and never called her. Now, the chances are, if you think someone is great, someone else does too, and eventually someone will call them. Why not now and why not you? In this case, Rose out of Chicago beat us to it. And she used a referral-based approach. I want you to listen how she approached her, and you might want to take down the language. She complimented Stacy and really built upon her credibility, saying something like this: Stacy, I know you've built several successful businesses in Chicago, and I know you're well networked in the Chicagoland area. I respect you. I'm building a business in Chicago too, and I was wondering if I could treat you to coffee, share with you what I'm doing, and pick your brain on ideas of how to grow this and see if you know people who you think might be interested. Now, long story short, Stacy met her for coffee, came with a list of hundreds of names she was ready to give Rose as referrals, and when she heard the opportunity, decided to come to a meeting to hear more because she thought it might be for her. Now, guess who was happening to host the meeting that night? That's right, yours truly. I was hosting the meeting that night, and in walked Stacy, and my stomach and my jaw hit the floor. She joined us. She ended up being the top recruiter in the company that year, and no doubt in my mind that she'll be a $1 million achiever too. So I guess you could call that my $50 million mistake over time. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Well, of course, I'm thrilled for Stacy and Rose, but how many of you know that I only have to learn that type of lesson once? Now, if someone comes to mind, I follow that little tug in my heart and I call them immediately. And I think, what's greater, the risk or the reward? The worst thing they're going to say is no. The best thing, your wildest dreams come true, they join you. Now, don't prejudge anybody. You don't know what their hopes, their dreams, their desires, and their financial situations are. Usually the most well-connected, successful, busy people, they get it first and they run with it. It's just our job to share. It's their job to decide. But remember, if we share what we're doing with everyone, they can all plug into our business as one of the 3 C's: a customer, a consultant, or a connector. But they can only do that if they know what you're doing and if you share your story with them. So what does it boil down to? Share and invite. Share the information. Invite them to something to hear more, whether it be a call or an event or a meeting. Work through your numbers and you too will find your power partners over time. And remember, never, ever, ever prejudge. You simply just can't quit. Now, the best thing that you can do to help you to stay on track and keep you on the track towards reaching your goals really is daily activity. The cure to what ails you in this business is always personal activity. You want more volume? Well, do what you did to get what you have in the first place. You want more qualifiers? Well, personal activity. So here's a rule for myself. 5 contacts a day keeps leads coming my way. 5 contacts a day keeps leads coming my way. So whether it's me making 5 calls to people on my contact list or handing out 5 business cards when I'm out and about, I'm not done until I've had these conversations and continue to work through my numbers, which in turn increases my odds for success. So what are your odds? Here's the lesson. Your success is directly related to the degree to which you're willing to work to find others like yourself who are committed to succeed. Would you be willing to hear uncounted no's to sign up 100+ people until you strike gold and you find $3 million leaders like I did? Well, I hope you will, but of course it would be easier, right, if you knew your set of odds up front. But here's the thing. You have your own set of odds and you don't know what they are until after you've succeeded. So if you've gone through a few people and you haven't found a serious person yet, you can either give up like Negative Nelly and assume that the business doesn't work for you, but somehow works for others. Or you can recognize that you're working through your own numbers. Are you willing to find out what your set of odds is? This means that you have to stay active. That means you have to commit to that personal activity and remember that the numbers never fail you, despite where you are in your skill. Your success is assured if you talk to enough people. I mean, guys, I was shy. I was young. I didn't have a network. As your skill improves, so will your odds, and you will find your gold if you keep sifting by sharing. Now, there's no such thing as luck in this profession. Winning is really a matter of being willing to pay the price. Are you? The choices you make today will determine the course for your entire future. And I want you to know you can so do this. You have everything it takes. If a formerly shy teacher in her 20s out of Michigan can do it, so can you. I want all of you to go for the gold and to continue to rock on. Now, if you'd like to stay connected and you'd like to get some more fabulous free training, I love to share it. That's what I do. I'm a teacher by trade. That's my heart. I share a lot of training videos, scripts, how-tos on my blog weekly at sarahrobbins.com. So be sure to subscribe there and sign yourself and your team up for my free generic training newsletter. Good for all companies, all products, all leaders. It's going to be fun, of great value, and again, completely generic. Now, you can also find my social media sites there, how to connect to me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, and get some ideas of how I'm building my business on an online platform. Follow the leader, do what I do. Copying is the best form of flattery. Now, when you're at sarahrobbins.com, be sure you check out our product store as well under the product section. And there's where you'll find my Rockstar Recruiting School, which contains 7-figure success strategies to build a big business yourself. I would love to see you there and help you in building a really rockin' business. Rock on, rock stars.
How awesome is that? I love listening to it. That's the second time today. I think that the number one ideas from chapters 1 and 2 is that it is a numbers game. You will develop the skills that are necessary over time when you don't give up. And the odds are in your favor when you don't quit. It's the ones who quit and give up on themselves and think it's for somebody else. It's not for me. It's not happening fast enough. I hear it all the time. I've heard it from so many people. I guess this is just not for me. I can't seem to get things together. I just can't seem to make it work. I can't seem to make the messaging work. I can't seem to form those relationships. Nobody really wants, it's all excuses. It's all excuses. If you will develop you, work on you, and talk to people, the skill will be developed. You will get better at what you're doing. Your odds are greater, and you will build it. And you will find the people that will join you and make this big business that you want, or whatever level of business. You will be able to accomplish your goals. That's it. You can do it. So we're going to get off of here, and we're going to have a little chit chat, Q&A, a little supportive conversation if you'd like to stick around with us. If not, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back with chapter 3 next week. And as Sarah Robbins says, rock on, rock stars.